Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are always so pleased to have in the studio with us today our friends from Promises2Kids. Joining us is Stephanie Ortega, the Chief Operating Officer. How you doing, Stephanie?
I'm great. How are you?
Always good to have you here. I'm doing fantastic. How long have you been at Promises?
I've been there 20 years.
Oh, my God. Just getting started.
Just getting started.
How long have you been in this position?
Ooh, I don't even know if I know that. Maybe about 10 years now?
10 years?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys just do such amazing things. We're going to hear all about the mission and so forth. And with your colleagues, Ayano Morrissette is a Foster Futures participant. How you doing, Ayano? Good?
I'm doing well, thank you.
How long have you been involved with Promises?
I've been involved with Promises since 2024, so about 2 years.
About 2 years? Mm-hmm. Okay. We're going to get to your story in a little bit and joined by your colleague, Gabrielle Wesley. How you doing, Gabrielle?
I'm doing great, thank you.
And you're a Guardian Scholar, correct?
Yes, I am.
We're going to find out all about Foster Future participants and Guardian Scholars and everything in between, but we'll start with you on this. Stephanie, what's the mission of Promises2Kids?
Well, the mission of Promises2Kids is really quite simple: to create a brighter future for foster children in our community.
Yeah, is foster children, is it growing, the amount of foster kids? Is it stabilizing?
It's actually, since I started, has gone down. But I think most people don't know that the calls to the hotline about suspected child abuse has not gone down. So I think it's just about the type of services that the foster care system is providing and interventions, but child abuse is still occurring. Yeah,
unfortunately, it is. And, I think we talk about this quite a bit with your colleagues or it's other groups that work in your space as well, that San Diego isn't the easiest place to live, especially when it comes to affordability. That's an understatement of the world and all that. Does that lead to some of the challenges?
I mean, I think there's many different reasons that can lead to possible child abuse. I definitely think economy, money, finances is a huge burden for everybody. I think we all can relate to that. But I think there's a lot of other variables like addiction and different things that make it hard to overcome and accept the help and move through those obstacles.
Right, exactly. Before we start talking about National Foster Care Month and Foodies for foster kids and Distilled and all the cool things that you folks do, I'll start with Gabrielle on this. So talk about your experience with the Promises2Kids. What did you, when you first got involved, boy, it was your eyeballs the size of saucers, and then very quickly, this is the right place for me.
Yeah, so before I joined Promises2Kids, I was going through a lot in my life with grief and trying to figure out my next steps within school and just who I was. And as a young person, I can do that on my own, but with some guidance and mentorship, that's really helped me. I joined Promises2Kids in 2023. And since then, it's been just a blessing because I've been able to have a mentor, be a part of women's leadership, the Guardian Scholars Program, volunteer with the Camp Connect program, become a youth-to-youth member at some time where I was helping out kids at Polinsky Center. So it's been very rewarding in my life. And I'd say without Promises2Kids, I wouldn't be where I am today. I feel like I would be a little behind, but with all the resources, they've really helped me with my career and me being in school and then having motivation for my business and things like that.
What do you think has changed the most in a very positive way from here you are starting in 2000, is it 23 you said? Is that
yes.
Right. And now here you are 3 years later. What has really been, this has really changed me quite a bit for the better in this area. What would that area be?
I would say in school. I wasn't the most confident in school, and as a foster youth, you go through a lot of emotions within life and things like that, so that can kind of take you away from the moment or your everyday goals. But I would say therapy in school has really helped me while being in the program. Therapy has helped my emotions, where I believe in myself more. And then my grades in school has gotten better because of the support I have.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Ayano the same question as well. You've been involved again since 2024. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the same thing with you. Gabrielle said confidence. Didn't even take 2 seconds to do that. How about for yourself?
I would also say confidence. I felt as though I had almost like a lack of support. When I was in school, I lacked confidence as well. I dealt with bad anxiety while in school. And once I was connected with Promises, I felt like I had a stable support system. So even though I still had days where I wanted to give up, I had support. I had a mentor. I had a coordinator cheering me on, telling me it's going to be okay. You're almost there. Keep going. And I also had problems with school. I was having trouble finishing each semester. I would get afraid. And I ended up graduating in May. But it was thanks to Promises.
Well, congratulations. I'll ask both of you this question, too, and then pivot over to Stephanie. You could have kept the mic, Ayano. That's okay. We'll start with you, and then we'll go over to Gabrielle, and then over to Stephanie, on this. We can't help but talk about trust when we're dealing with, the space you folks are in foster youth and all that business, because so many adults have let the foster kids down. That's an understatement of the world. And how tough is it to gain trust after you've been let down by adults before? I'll start with you on that, Ayano.
It's very difficult. But Promises, I feel like, is able to push past that barrier because they're consistent and they're reliable. So they provide that support and they gain your trust and they keep your trust because they show up and they provide resources that support you when you need it. They support you unconditionally, which I think is very important for someone in the foster care system.
Absolutely. Gabrielle, do you feel the same way?
I do feel the same way, and that's something I still battle with today. It's like trusting people and just I'd say when you're like a foster youth or just a person of just empathy, people kind of take advantage of that. So it's kind of hard to know who to trust and like, oh, I can trust you, or I can open up to you. Do you have good intentions or bad intentions? Because, throughout your life, it was either or. So
right, exactly. And Stephanie, that's music to your ears, and that's why I always love asking this question when we have the Guardian Scholars in and so forth, and people have gone through the program, because every single one that's come on the show has said, hey, without question, I've learned how to trust people, and that's got to warm your heart, Stephanie.
It definitely does. I mean, I think every single person needs to know that they have somebody in their court that will show up, and that they can trust. And it's all we want at Promises. And I mean, these ladies, so many others that have come on this show, are amazing with or without us. They will accomplish great things with or without us, and we're just honored to be on the journey with them.
Yeah, there's no question about it. We're chatting with our friends from Promises2Kids, Stephanie Ortega, the Chief Operating Officer, joined by Ayano Morrissette, a Foster Futures participant and a Guardian Scholar, and Gabrielle Wesley, a Guardian Scholar. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 20th year. Very proud of that. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things for people in San Diego County, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's homeless, whether it's Alzheimer's, they are there shoulder to shoulder. So Stephanie, National Foster Care Month is in May. We've had this conversation before. Listen, these types of months, whether it's feeding people and all that, don't know months. They don't know dates. It's 12 months of the year and all that, but it's good to shine a light on it. Talk about it.
Yeah, I think it is important to have a month and be able to talk about it. I think a lot of people don't know about it. When we were originally founded, there was a hotline for abused animals, but nothing for abused children. And I think it was one of those issues that had to be risen to the top, and there had to be focus and attention on it. And having months like this just allow us to bring more awareness, so there's more support, because there are kids out there that we need to help.
Yeah, exactly. So what's a Foodies for foster kids?
Oh, it's exciting. So Foodies for Foster Kids is where our local restaurants and businesses can support the organization, support San Diego's foster children by providing a small percentage back to the organization when our local community members go in and visit.
Right. So on the website, or they have all the restaurants or all the different groups that are involved in it. How many are there?
So right now we have about 20 restaurants and companies that are participating, but it's so much fun. So, I think we all get tired of trying to figure out what we're having for dinner or lunch. And so this is your menu for the month.
Okay. We come back from break. I'm going to ask Ayano to explain what a Foster Futures participant does and all that business, and then circle back to Gabrielle for Guardian Scholars. We've heard a lot about them, had them on the show, and why that is so cool. And as Stephanie knows, that we always save time in the second half of the program to what can our listeners do to support everybody's efforts, especially with the great work of Promises2Kids. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we're going to be right back after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We're chatting with our friends from Promises2Kids, joined by Stephanie Ortega, Chief Operating Officer, and a couple of her colleagues, Ayano Morrissette, she's the Foster Futures participant, and Gabrielle Wesley, a Guardian Scholar. We'll start with you on this, Ayano. What is a Foster Futures participant?
So a Foster Futures participant is someone that's gone through, I guess, who have higher needs, I guess, in terms of like housing or just need more support.
Right.
So they chose 50 as like the pilot program, and they chose me to join, which I'm very thankful for. I have been able to utilize the program to go to their workshops. So they have workshops that teach you resume building, they teach you financial literacy. They also help you out with monthly housing expenses. So it creates that like sense of like reliability. Like I've been able to focus more on my career because I have housing stability and I have food security. So that's Foster Futures.
And you're part of the Women's Leadership Network too? What is that about?
So Women's Leadership, I did my first year.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Thank you. I actually met Gabby in Women's Leadership. But we're in Women's Leadership, it's like a cohort of young women that I guess just want better for themselves. They give you an opportunity to network with women in the business industry, and they just set up workshops so you can know how to interview, so you know how to build your resume, so you know what employers are looking for. You're working with CEOs of companies, like big companies in San Diego, around the world, and they teach you how to be a professional as a woman.
Right. So I know somewhere down the road we're going to be able to say when Ayano is on the Supreme Court, because I know you want to be an attorney than a judge, right?
Yes.
Very, very exciting on that. What's Advocates for Change? Is that a component of the network, or is that something different?
It's different.
Yeah.
So Okay, Advocates for Change is the one I'm doing currently. It's what brings me here today. It basically is a program that empowers youth to use their voice and their story and kind of take control over it to empower themselves and empower others. I feel like being a foster youth, oftentimes you feel like your story kind of like sets you back. You're like, oh, people are going to assume things about me, or maybe this means this or that. But once you are able to take control of that, you get to decide your narrative.
Yeah, that sounds great. So, Gabby, if I can call you Gabby, if that's all right.
Yes.
What does a Guardian Scholar do?
A Guardian Scholar is someone that's in school chasing their dreams, whether that's a vocational school, a trade school, or college, university, or community college. And you have a case manager that helps you with your needs within the program, whether that's tutoring services, medical services, things like that, like an advocate for you. I've been a part of Guardian Scholars since 2023. Right now I'm at City College. I switched my major. Thank you so much. And it's very rewarding because it's something outside of school, but it's something that holds you accountable within your goals in school and just making sure you're accomplishing those and you're not just kind of putting school on the back burner. Like, you're held accountable. Like, we're here to have you succeed in your goals.
Yeah, so Ayano wants to be a lawyer and a judge and all that business. And how about you? What is your aspirations?
So right now I'm in healthcare information technology.
Okay.
And then my goal is to take a vocational school into LVN. But I also run a business, Gabby's Goodies, where I bake cookies on the side.
Gabby, and you brought some with us today?
I did not.
Okay, guess what? That means you're going to have to make a return appearance and do that as well in that area. You know, Stephanie, the Guardian Scholars Program has just been so successful. How many kids have gone through it over the years?
I think we're over 1,000 now total over the years. It started in 2001. So it's been an amazing, amazing program. That's actually what I started in when I started at Promises2Kids 20 years ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I still keep in touch with so many of my former students, and that's what it's about.
Now, do you ever have a huge blowout with all 1,000 people and a big party, and you celebrate at Petco or whatever the case may be, or go to Disneyland? Or
that might be the next idea. That maybe, I don't know. We should, I think about that.
Okay, here we go. Drew always likes to create work for other people, which I'm really good at. You know, before we toss back over to Ayano and Gabrielle, talk a little bit about Distilled.
Oh my gosh, Distilled is just one of those really fun events that you can go to enjoy your night with friends, family, coworkers, whoever you want, and all for a good purpose, good reason, because it supports Promises2Kids. But it's an awesome event, very affordable. Just here in our area, it's at Veloce Automotives, where all these amazing cars are stored. So if you like cars, you definitely want to go to be able to see them. And while you get to hang around those cars, then you get to taste all whiskeys and learn more about it and try everything, figure out what you love, and just have a great time.
So that's June 4th, and you sign up through the website, I take it?
Yeah, you can sign up through our website, give us a call, come visit our office, whatever's easiest.
Right, it's on Miramar Road, is that it?
It is on Miramar Road, so super convenient. You can buy packs of 10, you can bring your whole office, anything and everything we're here to support.
Right. So Camp Connect, did Gabby or Yana go through Camp Connect at all?
So I was a youth member where I volunteered with the children. So
and what would you do?
I would wake up early in the morning and we would do activities from the moment we wake up till the time we go to sleep, whether that was horseback riding, arts and crafts, dance, music, swimming. And it's just an experience for children to come together in the summertime that connects with their siblings, whether they're in different placements. So you have about a week to spend time with your siblings and just have the time of your life.
Right. So Gabby's Goodies, is that your business, right?
Yes,
that's right, exactly. And you're going to branch out, and this is going to be throughout the state and then the nation?
Yes. So right now my goal is to stay in San Diego, partner with other businesses to give back to children. Because my thing is I love helping children. I love being there for children. So using my cookies to give back to the community. And then also start with San Diego, move to LA, and then go from there on.
What's your favorite cookie?
My brown butter chocolate chip.
Brown butter. I'm getting hungry. So is my business colleague, Charles over here. You want to add something, Charles, at all? No? Okay, you're just going to be thinking about it. If you do, let me know, and I'll get your speaker up over there. What's your favorite cookie, Ayano?
My favorite cookie?
Yeah.
I would say...
We're trying to get our business built up before the end of the show
Yeah,
here.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Whichever one Gabby wants me to try. But I like macadamia nut cookies.
Those are good.
Charles, you got anything to add to that?
I figured, Drew, why not let me jump in? First of all, Stephanie, phenomenal work.
Thank you.
I care deeply about this community. You and I have
Absolutely.
chatted about this. I've worked in this space with youth. So the two of you are just absolutely spectacular. And I want to do something. Let's do it live in the air. One, I want to connect you, Ayano, with my daughter. She's a second-year lawyer, went to a fancy law school. But I'd like to pair you up with her because I think it's important to always have a swim buddy in life. Mm-hmm. And hey, she's spent some time mentoring younger women that are trying to pursue the field of law. And you and Gabby's Goodies. Did you know that? Have you heard of Maya Madsen and Maya's Cookies?
I have.
Do you know that Maya was foster youth?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll have to connect you directly with Maya Madsen as well.
Okay.
I can make that happen for you.
Thank you.
Well, we can't leave Steph. Who are we going to connect Stephanie with? Jackson Merrill, maybe?
Yeah, no, we're going to connect her with Gabby to get some goodies.
Right.
Okay.
I support that.
Yeah,
We all
yeah.
need some goodies.
No, that's great. We're chatting with our friends from Promises to Kids, Stephanie Ortega, Chief Operating Officer, Ayano Morrissette, Foster Futures participant, future lawyer and judge, and Gabrielle Wesley, already an entrepreneur with Gabby's Goodies and so forth, and going to City College as well. So obviously there's many ways that people can support Promises. Talk about some of those, Stephanie.
Yeah, there are many ways. Everybody has their different, treasures that they can offer, and we need all of it to be quite transparent. And so everybody can visit our website at www.promises2kids.org, and that's with the number 2, to learn more about all our programs. We would love to have any and every volunteer that's out there. Just like, Charles, you were talking about mentoring. We need that. We need to make sure that everybody feels they have somebody, that there are people to show up. And so anybody who is willing to offer some time, we would love that in our office. It can be for mentoring our Guardian Scholars, our Foster Future students, or even help us chaperone at Camp Connect events. And of course, we have our events like Foodies for Foster Kids, Distilled. We have our annual gala in September, and would love to have everybody buy tickets and attend.
So both Ayano and Gabby are young on all that business, and they've talked about their mentors. But I'll start with you on this, Ayano. Do you mentor anyone now?
I don't mentor anyone. I still have my mentor.
Okay. I think you probably do mentor someone. You're probably not aware of it because everybody, when just by the fact of what you've talked about, what you do and all that business as well. Gabby, how about you? Anyone you've mentored at all?
Not within the program, but I have a community of youngers that look up to me, and they're like, "Oh, I want to bake."
Talk about that. What is that?
So I connect with a lot of the moms in the foster programs because I just love children, and her 3 littles love to just be with Miss Gabby and be around the baking, or I would bring them to some of the Promises to Kids events, so they're able to have the experience of going out and just having a nice outing. But I'm all about the kids.
And Stephanie, obviously, this is just absolutely in the wheelhouse of Promises to Kids. Here are Ayano and certainly Gabby that go through the program and now they're giving back. Okay, and just getting started giving back at a young age on that. Where do you see Promises in the next 5 years, 10 years?
It's been a really exciting time lately. So we actually just moved into a new building, and we have a lot.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It has been big. We have a lot of great things that are coming our way. So we have recently expanded our healthcare, our mental health support for our youth, and provided therapy one-on-one, and we want to expand that. So we're eventually going to be opening a mental health clinic at our new office. And the other part that I'm super excited about is that eventually we'll be opening early childhood education for the children of our former foster youth. So these are our Guardian Scholars, our Foster Future students that are able to then participate in that child care center for their little, so they can continue to focus on education, career, all those dreams we talked about, while also having the best of the best for their children.
Yeah, certainly we do this quite a bit when we have Guardian Scholars on, or younger folks that have just gone through whatever the program is. So we're going to put both Gabby and Ayano to the test over here. We'll start with you on this, Gabby. You are now, you already are a spokesperson for Promises to Kids, but listen, you now have a national audience, okay? You've been asked to speak at one of these huge addresses to the whole nation about why people should support Promises to Kids. What would you say?
I would say, don't see me as an adult, but think about that little girl that was going through a lot of traumatic experiences, things we don't see on the news. Only a little bit of stories hit the news, but on the daily occurrence, there's a lot of child abuse, there's a lot of neglect. Before you look at someone and judge them for being crazy on the streets or crazy in jail, just understand at some point they were a child that didn't get the best care or service. So I think when Promises to Kids come in, they're changing that stigma of child abuse, and they're nipping it in the bud so children have a place to fall back on, have resources, because a lot of people grew up and didn't have those resources to make something of themselves or be understood or heard. So it's really helping a child's life to then go into the world and be an inspiration to other people and be something in life, not crime, hurting other people because you're hurt. It all starts within you. And if you want to give back to children and make a change in the world, even in their future, I think Promises to Kids is the way to go.
You know, what you said was just absolutely spot on. We'll, go ahead and chat to Ayano about her thoughts on it as well. But if you think about it, if all 8 billion of us, is that how many there's in the world these days, sat there and didn't judge anyone, because you don't know where they came from, and they may be acting a little, maybe squawking at the world or whatever the case may be. Well, maybe there's a reason why. So maybe I'm just going to go ask and be a little sympathetic. What a shock. That is just unbelievable advice over there. Ayano, how about yourself? What would you say? You got the whole world listening to you.
I would try to convey a message of how powerful people's decisions are when it comes to making an impact. Like getting involved with programs like Promises supports youth, like Gabby was saying, to change your future. So I feel like if you're changing several futures, you don't know who those kids are going to decide to be when they grow up. You could be helping the next president, change their life. So
yeah, and that's so true. And of course, one thing that Promises has always done, it's not just the Gabbys, it's the Gabby's whole universe. So everybody Gabby is touching, or Ayano is touching, okay, is huge on this. Stephanie, shout out that website one more time so people can get to that Distilled event on June the 4th.
Promises2Kids.org with that number 2.
Yeah, well, listen, as always, hit a home run coming in talking about the amazing work that Promises does. Gabby and you Guardian scholars and your Foster Futures participants never disappoint. You always have some great content. It makes old guys like me know that we are in great hands with the leadership that's coming up, and really appreciate you sharing your story and all the great things you have done and you will be doing. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Absolutely. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, nation's longest-running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing phenomenal things for people living in San Diego County. And to our audience, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.